Hello everyone, welcome to the lecture series on VLSI design. In previous lecture, we had looked into uh, dynamic shift register cells, a 3 transistor dynamic RAM cell, and 1 transistor dynamic RAM cell. And then we had looked into how actually these are going to perform in terms of storage of bits, like in terms of area, in terms of power dissipation, and all those things. In today's lecture, we shall continue with some more different types of memory elements. So in today's lecture, we are going to discuss on pseudo-static RAM. Okay, this is going to be a static RAM, and a 4 transistor dynamic RAM and a 6 transistor dynamic RAM. Okay, so this is actually the pseudo-static static RAM or a register cell. This is one of the memory element where it is going to store uh, the number of bits. Okay, one single bit can be stored in this particular circuit. So here you can observe both are the same circuit. This particular circuit what we are having, this is based on NMOS logic, and this is going to be in terms of CMOS logic. Only difference is here we are using NMOS transistor as a pass transistor over here, and then here we are using a transmission gate. Okay, since we are using both in terms of a PMOS and then NMOS, this can be called as what? This can be called as CMOS logic as well. Okay, now coming to the working of this, actually in the previous uh, memory elements what we have seen that it is going only writing and then reading operation has been done. Okay, so in the sense like there we are not actually refreshing the data. So we had we had taken something like this, the data which is going to be written, that is going to be written in terms of what it is going to return in terms of some capacitors, like gate capacitance, and we were having some capacitors, output capacitors as well. Okay, so suppose if I had written 1, okay, logic 1, what would have happened? The capacitor would have charged to VDD. Okay, and if I leave that for longer time, there are possibilities that the capacitor might get discharged, because the capacitor cannot hold that particular voltage level for longer time. There might be some or other path where it can get a path to get discharged. Okay, so there the voltage degradation happens. Okay. So those type of circuits which we have seen, like 3 transistor DRAM and then 1 transistor DRAM, there are possibilities that there might be corruption of data. Okay, so your data might get corrupted. So in order to overcome those things, as we had said in system timing consideration, that we'll be using our clock phi 1 signal in order to write the data and then read the data, and we'll be using one more clock signal, that is going to be a phi 2, that is meant for refreshing the data. So now in today's lecture, what and all we are discussing, those are meant in terms of here there won't be any data corruption, since we are refreshing the data after the writing the data, and then by using this clock phi 2 will be refreshing the data. And one more thing we need to observe, that here the write signal and the read signal in these particular circuit, okay, the write signal is ANDed with phi 1. As we had said in system timing consideration, the write signal should be always synchronized with phi 1, write and read signals. So that can be performed by ANDing those signals with clock phi 1. So here you can observe that the write and phi 1 have been ANDed. That means that this write signal is in synchronization with phi 1. So the writing will happen only in synchronization with phi 1. Okay, let us look into the writing and reading operation. So here basically we are looking in terms of we'll be explaining by taking this NMOS logic, And then one more thing, you need to make sure that here we are having two different inverter logics, okay, and make sure that the pull up to pull down ratio is being different over here. One is 8 is to 1 and one more is 4 is to 1 over here. Now let us look into the write operation. Okay, when I want to perform write operation, what I will be doing, I'll be making sure that the write signal what I'm having, I'll be making it to logic 1, and the read signal what I'll be having, I'll be making it to logic 0. To write to write bit 1, so I'll be making sure that the bus will have that particular value over here, particular logic, logic 1 or logic 0 will be present in the bus, and then we have to make sure that these are two different clocks and then they should not overlap, we had said in system timing consideration. So one is phi 1 and then one more is phi 2. So this phi 1 is meant for what? It is meant for read and write, and then this phi 2 is meant for refreshing the data. So now let us look. So here I am having what? Here we are having in bus we are having this logic 1, and then we have applied with the write signal as logic 0, and then here we have applied with the read signal 0, and then the phi 2 signal has been, the clock phi 2 is being 0. That means it is in synchronized here. The phi 1 signal is 1 and the write signal is 1, that's why it is going to be what? It is going to be 1 over here. When we have applied 1 over here, this particular transistor is going to be turned on, so it is going to act like a closed switch, and then the logic which has been applied here, it is 0. So this transistor is going to be turned off, and then it is going to act as an open switch, and then here also this is going to, since we have applied 0, this transistor is going to be turned off, so it is going to be acting like an open switch. So the bus what we are having, it does not get any path over here since it is acting like an open switch over here, and again here we don't have any path since even this is acting like an open switch over here, and only path what we are going to get is going to be this path. Okay, so when you get this path over here, one has been given as an input to this particular inverter. So I'll be having what? I'll be having a 0 over here, the capacitance of the output capacitance of this particular inverter, and then input gate capacitance of this particular inverter. They are going to store this particular logic over here. Okay, and again what? The storage what we are going to happen, it is going to be in terms of what? Here it is going to happen in this particular area. Okay, so the inverted form of the input what we have applied, the inverted form of the data what we are going to store, that is going to be stored over here. Okay, so the output for this particular input will be 1. So this is what we have written, this inverted form of this particular input has been written over here at this particular output. So this output is going to be what? It is going to be 1 over here. The input has been stored over here. If we are having gate capacitance over here, that is going to be charged to what? It is going to be charged to VDD. So as we had said, there might be some path for a capacitor where it might get discharged, so that this particular this thing what we are having, it is going to be what? It is going to be uh, getting corrupted. Okay, so now in order to refresh the data, you can observe in the refresh operation, the write signal I have made it as 0. Write signal is 1. Okay, even though write signal is 1, but you can observe that this phi 1 signal has become 0 in the next cycle. Okay, so when in the next half cycle the phi 1 has become 0, when phi 1 is 0, 0 into 1, it is going to be what? It is going to be 0 again. So here you can observe this particular region over here, the phi 2 has become 1. When phi 2 is 1, so this is open switch now, and then again this anyhow we have made read signal as 0. This is going to be an open switch. Now at this particular instance at phi 2, what we are having, the transistor, this this transistor is going to be turned on since the logic 1 has been applied over here. So it is going to act like an closed switch. So now this particular, these values what we are having, these will get a path. Okay, so this path what we are having, so again one what we have is being present, it is going to come over here, and then it is going to refresh this particular data. So the voltage levels at these input capacitance and then output capacitance of these particular inverter stage. Okay, so those voltage capacitance or the voltage levels at those capacitors is going to be refreshed, and the voltage across those capacitor is going to be maintained. Okay, so this is how the refresh is going to happen. Now let us look into writing of bit 0. Okay, when you are writing bit 0, again what we are doing, we are making our write signal as high, read signal as 0, but the thing is, it is going to be, my bus is going to have a value bit 0. Okay, so bus is having value bit 0, write is 1, and then read is 0, and then again phi 2 is 0. So as we know, this particular transistor is going to be turned on, so it is going to act like a closed switch, and then this particular transistor is an open switch, and again this particular transistor is going to be an open switch. So when this particular thing is happened, so here you can observe the 0 has arrived over here, and the output what you are having of this particular inverter stage, it is going to be 1, and the output of this particular inverter is going to be 0. So the storage has happened over here. Okay, and in the next half cycle, phi 1 is going to be 0, so this particular write signal has become 0, and this particular transistor, since phi 2 is 1, this particular transistor is turned on, so it is going to be acting like an closed switch. So I'll get a path. Okay, in order to refresh the data, so the data what we have written, the data what we have written, it is not going to be corrupted, or it is not going to be, so the same value what I have written, that is going to be retained over here in the refresh operation. Okay, now let us look into the read operation of this particular uh, circuit. As we know, we have written this particular data, right? So we had written 1, so 0 has been there over here, and then the output of this is 1. So the data which has been written is 1 into this particular operation over here. So when I want to make a read operation, what I will be doing, I will be making my write signal as 0, and then I will be making my read signal as 0. Since these are synchronized with clock phi 1, so here read signal is going to be high, and then phi 2, since they have applied phi 2 over here, this is going to be 0. Okay, so when I had made 0 and then 1, this particular transistor is going to be an open switch since it is turned off, and this transistor is going to be a closed switch since it is turned on, and then this is going to be acting like an open switch since it is turned off. Okay, so here I won't get any path since it is an open switch, and then here also there won't be any path or loop since it is an open switch. The only path I'll get is this particular path, this transistor path. So the bus will be read as 1 over here. Okay, the same thing will happen for even our if you have written 0, so here you will be having 0, and then here you will be having 1, and then here you will be having 0. The same data will be read. Here you can observe, there in the previous cycle we had seen that some of the circuits were seen, the bus will be reading the inverted form of the logic which had been written. Here what bit you had written into the memory element, same value will be read across the bus in the read operation. So there is no any inverted form and all those things. Okay, so now let us look into the area calculations. as we know, the main switching will happen in terms of these two inverter stages. That is, one is with geometry 8 is to 1, and then one more is with geometry 4 is to 1. Okay, so the total area of this particular this thing is what it is going to be 1750 lambda square. Okay, so this is the for layout, it is going to take this much of area, and based on the uh, based on the technology what we have used, let us consider we have used 2.5 micrometer technology. The total area in order to store one bit, that would be across 10,000 micrometer square. Okay, so this particular value is meant for what? It is going to store only one bit. This is the area required to store one bit. So as we know, let us consider we are having a chip area of 4 mm bar 4 mm. So how many bits can be stored in this particular chip? In order to store, so the total area will be 16 mm square. So if you divide this with 10,000, so that is going to be what? It is going to be 1.6, I guess. So 1250, so it is going to be 1.4 kilobits. Now let us look into the power dissipation part. As we had seen in the previous thing, two inverter stages we were having. One is 8 is to 1 and one more is 4 is to 1. Okay, so the main switching, as we know, static power is not at all concerned, but the dynamic power is concerned. So dynamic power dissipation will happen in terms of switching, as we have different stages over here with pull up and pull down ratios are different. So 8 is to 1, it may have resistance, it will present a resistance of 90 kilo ohm. Okay, and 4 is to 1 stage will occur us will give us a resistance of 50 kilo ohm. So based on this, if we calculate our power dissipation part, the average current what we are going to get, it is going to be 80 microamperes. Now again, how to calculate power dissipation? So dissipation per bit stored, it is going to be VDD into current. So it is going to give us 400 microwatts. Okay, so this power is meant for what? It is meant for one bit to be stored. This much power is going to consume. Okay, so as we know, our this thing is 1.4 kilobits. So the total power what we will get, it is going to be 560 milliwatts. So for an 4 mm bar 4 mm chip area, this much amount of power will be dissipated. Okay, so now let us look into 4 transistor dynamic RAM and then a 6 transistor static RAM CMOS memory. These both are based on CMOS memory. Now this particular the left side circuit what we are having, this is going to be a 4 transistor dynamic RAM cell, and this the right side what we are having, it is going to be 6 transistor dynamic RAM cell. See here how we can tell 4 transistor in the sense, mainly concentrate only on this much part what we are having over here. This part what you are having, this is going to be the main logic, the 4 transistor. As you can see, T1, T2, T3 and then T4, these particular transistors are meant for storage. Okay, sorry. The below part what you are having over here, this VDD, S and then CS, this is, as we had said, in one transistor DRAM we had specified something like sense amplifier. So this particular circuit is meant for what? It is going to be meant for this sensing of the values which we are going to read in this bus lines over here. Okay, and here you can observe the same thing. This particular part, the upper part what you are having over here, this is going to be a 6 transistor static RAM cell. Here you can observe this is transistor 1 2 3 4 5 and then 6. Okay, so this particular stage is meant for 6 transistor static RAM, and this is 4 transistor dynamic RAM. And the below part what you are having over here, this particular circuit is meant for sensing of, or you can call it as an sense amplifier. So it is going to sense what is being read, or what is the value is present in this bus line. Based on that, it is going to give it to main bus. Okay. So now let us, since both the operations are similar, the read and write operation of both the circuits are similar. So I'll be doing, keeping side by side, I'll be doing both the read and write operation of both the circuits. Okay. Now let us look into the write operation of these particular circuit. So whenever we are writing into something, so here one thing what we need to observe is that we should always make our bus lines to be pre-charged to VDD. So this pre-charge, it is going to be in synchronized with this particular phi 1. Okay. So the read and write operation is going to be in synchronized with phi 2 signal. Now you can observe we have given 1 over here. So here you can observe this PMOS circuit, PMOS transistor over here. The same PMOS transistor is present over here also for this particular bus. I have not mentioned these particular transistors over here, but the transistors are present in this particular circuit as well, and then they have been connected to what? Phi 1, and then the output end will be the source end will be connected to VDD, and then the drain end will be connected to the bus line. So when we apply this pre-charge is 1, so at that time the transistor, these both transistors, they are going to be what? They are going to be turned on. So the bus line what we are having, those will be pre-charged to VDD. Okay. So both the buses, the bus and then bus bar, here you can observe this is bus line, and then this is going to be an inverted line. So this is going to be a bus bar, and then here also you can observe this is going to be bus, and then this is going to be bus bar. Okay. So all are pre-charged to VDD now. Okay. Now when, so this is going to happen in pre-charge phase. So the writing will happen when you make our, when we make our pre-charge to be 0, and then when we make our write line to be 1. Okay. Now since I am not sensing anything, so that is why I will be making my sense amplifier to be 0 over here. The sense amplifier input what I have given, so I have made it as 0. Since I need to get the data from this IO bus, right? So here we are having this bus, IO bus. Okay. So I'll be making my column select to be 1. Okay. This particular C column select will be 1 whenever you are doing write operation as well as read operation. Since I have made this as 1, these transistors what you can observe, these are turned on, right? Here you can observe these transistors are going to be what these transistors are going to be a closed switch. So what I'll be having, I'll be making this, I'll be having a bus value to be 1 and then to be 0 over here. Since we have made this write operation word line as 1 in synchronization with phi 2, so what will happen, these particular transistors, transistor T1 and then T2, here you can observe transistor M5 and then M6, these are going to be turned on. So here you can observe, this is going to be what? It is going to be a closed switch. Again it is going to be a closed switch, and then since 0 is present over here, this capacitor CG3 what you are having, it is going to be discharged to ground, and then since 1 is applied over here and it is connected to what? It is connected to CG4, it is going to be charged to VDD. In the similar fashion, since these are two inverter stages as we had seen in pseudo static RAM cell, these are the two inverter stages. Okay. So based on these two inverter stages, we are going to apply these things. See here, this particular value what I am writing over here, it has been given to input of this particular transistor. Okay. The output of this transistor is going to be input of this transistor. See, Now let us look over this thing. Let us concentrate at this part, the 6 transistor part, how actually it is going to work. See, if I had applied 1 over here, the 1 has been applied to this particular transistor stage. Okay, the output of this particular transistor stage is going to be 0, right? So 0 has been 0, again 0 is over here. So this is going to be applied to this one, and then 0 is the input for this particular inverter stage. So the output of this, it is going to be 1. See here, the data what you are applying, since we have made it something like a closed loop, the data is going to be present over here all the time, since it is a loop, continuous loop. There is no refreshing is required for this particular stage, since both the inverter outputs and the inputs are being given to both the inverter stages. Okay, so that's why here you can observe 0 has been written to this CG3, and then here you can observe 1 has been written to CG4. CG3 discharged to ground, and then CG4 charges to VDD. So here also you can observe the 1 has been given to this particular inverter, and then 0 has been given to particular inverter. So at this point, the value what I can have is going to be 1, and then at this point the value what I'll be having, it is going to be 0. Okay, so this is how you are going to write down the values. Okay, the same thing is meant for even read logic 0 as well. So as you can see, we have written both the values, right? So 1 also we have written, 0 also we have written. Since 0 is IO bar, so this is how 0 is being written. If you are going for in order to write the 0, okay, if you want to write bit 0, so this is going to be a vice versa. So this CG4 would have discharge to ground, and then CG3 would have discharge charge to VDD. The same operation, but there is no much difference. So now let us look into read operation of this particular value. As we know from the previous slide, we know CG3 has been discharged to ground, CG4 has been charged to VDD, right? So now let us apply. Before read operation, again I need to make sure that I need to pre-charge these values. So in pre-charge, your PMOS transistors are going to be turned on, and the bus lines will be pre-charged to VDD, right? So this is our pre-charge stage. After pre-charge, what I'll be doing, I'll be making my FIDE to be high. So pre-charge is going to be 0, and then a word line is going to be 1, and here you can observe the read operation is being done. So in order to read the data, I'll be using my sense amplifier. Since I'm using my sense amplifier, I'll be making this yes to be 1. Okay, and since I'm reading the data, I'll be making my column select to be 1, to in order to make these IO buses to be connected to the circuit. Okay, since these transistors are on, these are connected to IO buses now. Now what happens is that, now when I make these things, these particular transistors, where which you can see in yellow dotted lines, these are the transistors which are going to be turned on. Okay, now here you can observe that I'll be getting a path over here in order to read the data 0, and then I'll be getting a path over here in order to read the data 1. Here also, since this particular is an input for this inverter stage, the voltage at this level, it is going to be 1, and the voltage at this level, it is going to be 0, since the input is 1. Okay, so here again these are transistors. So at this point what I'm having, it is going to be what? It is going to be logic 0, and at this point it is going to be logic 1. Again in the similar fashion, so here you can observe at this particular point what I'm having, what I'm pointing over here, it is going to be logic 0, and then at this point it is going to be logic 1, right? So 0, and then it is going to be logic 1. Okay, so this sense amplifier, what it does is that so based on this thing, okay, the values what I'm having over here, the same values is being written over here, okay, even though there is some lesser voltage. Let us suppose that let us look at this particular voltage level. Let me take this particular voltage level to be something like let us consider that this thing has been little bit discharging has been happened, so there might be some 4.2 volt. So when 4.2 volt is being given to this stage, so here the output of this particular this thing will be what? It is going to be what? It is going to be 0. So 0 is being read over here. When 0 is being read, so at this point again, based on the VDD what I have applied, I will be getting 5 volt across this stage. Okay. So since I am getting 5 volt, the logic what I will be reading, it is going to be logic 1. A similar fashion, so based on the bus line what we are having, based on the sense amplifier, so we are going to boost, actually this sense amplifier is meant for what? In order to boost the values, okay, if there is some discharging has happened, the voltage level have been degraded, so in order to make that as 5 volt, we will be using what? We'll be using the SEMS amplifiers. So the bus value what it is going to be read, it is going to be either a logic 1, it is going to be 5 volt, and if it is logic 0, it is going to be 0 volt. So that we will be getting a proper outputs at the, so after read operation we will be getting the proper outputs at our IO buses. So this is how the read operation is being done for both the 4 transistor as well as 6 transistor CMOS memory cells. Okay. So these are all regarding different types of memory elements. So this completes what our part 1 of module 5. So in the next lecture we shall look into the part 2, that is testing and verification, like what and all verification, what and all are the parameters which need to be tested. So those types of different types of testings environment and verification environments, that we are going to see in. Okay, thank you.